Hello and welcome to the DC Stewart Show Podcast. I am your host, Derek Stewart, along with my two kinfolk, Najee and Isaiah. We're glad to be here on a Monday. We had a really great weekend of sports, all the way from college World Series baseball to professional baseball to professional basketball, because we're going to be talking a little bit today about the game tonight. It's a pivotal game for both teams, technically more so Indiana than OKC. We'll discuss those things. We'll cover those. We're going to be covering some top picks on Najee's behalf of guards and shooting guards in the NBA historically, basically coming down to who we think is the GOAT. Hit that subscribe button and hit that like button. With all, due respect, we appreciate what you are bringing to us, and we hope you like what we're bringing to you because we enjoy what we're bringing to you. We talk about sports every day during our own private conversations, and we really wanted to express some of our private conversations of sports and our opinions with you, the viewer. So hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe, because when you subscribe, you definitely get all of the notifications up front for it. Hit that little bell, because that is a notification bell, and that gives you, upfront information to when we upload videos and stuff. Once again, you are currently tuned into the DC Stewart Show Podcast. I'm going to introduce my first kinfolk by the name of Isaiah. And look, once again, I still don't come close with the hat. So I'm working on my hat collection right now. But Isaiah, how did your weekend go? By the way, happy belated Father's Day. I
It's
told
a
you
lot,
that
partner.
yesterday, but
Yeah,
happy Father's Day to you, because I know you're a very devout family man, and you took care of your family, and you have a wonderful family. So I'm really happy that you were able to spend a day with your family yesterday. Tell us a little bit about what you did. Tell us a little bit about, what you watched on sports, if you had a chance to do that.
I really wasn't watching any sports at all. I was totally consumed with some functions and some events that carried on through Friday to last night, late last night. The city of Jacksonville has this thing where it's Juneteenth. Juneteenth is for the freeing of us, the slaves back in the day. Had a function for that over the weekend in Jacksonville. I'm telling you right now, we're sleeping here in South Florida on that, man. I just absolutely was astonished of how many people came out. All of them came out. There was so many people that was engaged. They had a lot of the folks from that, more of a young jock and a couple of artists that came over there and participated in there. Super, super beautiful, man. That particular day Saturday turned out where it looked like like a freaking rain out, tremendously
Hmm.
dark at around 1 o'clock until like 4, and it dripped, and then like the sky just dropped out. But after that, man, it was like 100 degrees from like 4 o'clock all the way into probably 8. But it was nice, man. The event was nice. It was well organized. The folks there all turned out. It was a tremendous amount of people that attended this thing, and man, I actually was really pleased with to see how many black folks came out there and they were unified. And it was nice, man. I just don't see myself in another one of those things next year. I'd be right there again because they did it up. They did a really, really good job, and they had a ton of sponsors there that advocated for the movement. So it was nice, man. It was really, really, yeah.
Absolutely. Did you get an opportunity to work out before you actually enjoyed Father's Day?
No, I didn't have time for that at all. I'm gonna, double down on it
I
this
knew that
week
was coming.
because I didn't have no time for any working out. Now I'm gonna tell you one thing in DC that I did do. I worked out on these jaws, man. It was so
So you
much
worked
food
out on
out
the
there to
jaws,
eat,
huh?
bro. Yes, sir. Yep.
Oh
Yeah,
dear.
man. I probably gained 5 pounds there over the weekend. All the cakes and pies and the
Well, that means
everything. They
you
had
gotta dump
everything out there,
five
man.
pounds in the
That's that
next couple
sugar.
of days, right?
Man, I tell you one thing. a little bit of sweat to get that right off. All you gotta do is get you some sweat in, get you some cardio on that bicycle and the treadmill and the elliptical, pull that right off. So I'm not worried about it. I just had to enjoy that weekend because it was beautiful, man. I actually didn't know it was going to be that huge, but it was nice. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, that was very fruitful to hear your weekend. It went as well as my weekend, but I'm going to introduce my other kinfolk, Najee. How you doing, Najee? What's really going on?
What's going on, gentlemen? Happy Father's Day.
Hey,
Absolutely.
thanks.
Thank you. So that's all you
Yeah,
got for us?
so Friday. No. Friday was our early anniversary because we both work today.
Okay.
Today is our 4 year anniversary, me and Rakia.
Oh,
So everything
awesome.
we did, we wanted to do today, we did it Friday. We went out to eat the Longhorn, went to this place called Elevate, which is like our arcade, mini golf, bowling, go-kart, all that stuff. So that's what we did Friday. Saturday, I mean, of course, we exchanged gifts too. But Saturday, we went to this little water park
Hmm.
called Sailfish Splash. We had fun there. It was cool. Then I also finished that off with my coworker's baby shower. He having his first child. So I mean, but Sunday we just really just kind of chilled out. Sunday we didn't really do too much of anything. Sunday just watch TV and just enjoy each other's company.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Well, let me tell you a little bit about my weekend. Going into the
So
weekend, I had to have a tooth extracted, and that worked
Oh,
out
shoot.
somewhat fine.
what?
I didn't even find out until I got into the periodontist office, and then they started working on, a particular thing that they were going to work on with the tooth because I was having pain in it when I ate. It was like a stinging pain. So that technically led
Mm,
to him concluding that there was some bacteria and infection. But long story short, the very back tooth was moving. I mean, and when they start moving, you've lost a lot of bones because the bone hold
Oh, yeah.
teeth in place.
Yeah.
So his
mm-hmm.
suggestion was just to go on and get it out, which I
Get
was
it
going to
taken out.
probably
Yeah.
ask him anyway. Just look, just get it out because whatever it takes. I don't like to have to chew on one side of my face, which I've been doing the last several months due to the fact that there was pain on that side. So he went
Mm-hmm.
in and he took care of that particular thing, and I haven't had any problems since. I mean, they
Hmm.
technically patched up the area back there, and I've been eating for the last few days to keep things off of that area until it completely heals because he did use
Wow.
stitching to stitch it up over there.
Hmm.
So that was part of what
Yeah.
happened going into the weekend. Once I got to the weekend, I had an opportunity to spend some time with my wife, and we did a few things together here in the house. We do chores together, we share chores, and we do different things together. So I was really kind of happy that I was able to spend time with her because I've been putting a lot of time into what we're doing with our podcasting and our content creation and all of that. It takes a lot of work to put into that. So by the way, you guys have been doing a fantastic job. I mean, we've hit over 140,000 views. Pretty much our subscription rate has kind of doubled up to almost 200%. So we're on our way in a lot of areas, and we want the viewers more engaged with us. You, the viewer, please get engaged with us. We are getting
Absolutely.
comments on certain things, and we are commenting back. We want to hear what you got to say because at the end of the day, it's you that matters to us. You are the one
Yeah.
that we want to make sure that we're engaging with, good, bad,
Most
ugly,
definitely.
or indifferent. I mean, you got your own opinion. We have our own opinion. If we make a error in particular by name pronunciation or any of that stuff, we'll fact check ourselves and we'll correct ourselves live, real time. I don't mind doing it, and I don't mind telling someone, look, I misrepresented this if it was that case. So and all of the other two guests, my guys here, would do the same. So we gonna get this party started, but
Yeah.
where the party at?
DC, I want to mention something to you before you move on, man, regarding your teeth, man.
Mm-hmm.
I always had, I had a friend that was a pretty good friend of mine. He was a dentist, and he always gave me that remedy for you if you ever, have decay or in one side. So you start extracting teeth. The best way to get rid of all of it, you know how to do it, DC?
Mm-mm.
Just take all of them out. You'll be good.
Now I know you were gonna come in and set me up on that one. Now that's wrong. You cut me off just to set me up to take all of them out and just become Gumby, right?
Yeah, yeah. Just chew like this. So,
Just chew like that. And you know what? One day
yeah,
we
you be
all
good.
go to that level once we get old
No, you
enough.
don't.
Well, a
No,
lot of
you
people
don't. You
do.
don't have to. Well,
A
that's
lot of
the
people
ones
do.
who
It
don't
depends on
mind
how
looking
well you
crazy.
take care of your teeth. If you don't brush and
Yep.
you don't floss, your teeth ain't going to be around forever or long at all. Because once that
You
food
floss
and
them
all of
every
that
day,
stuff
several
that you
times a
eat
day,
and
and brushing
consume
all
every
that.
day gets under
Yep.
your gum and it gets infected and it becomes bacteria and you can't get it out. It just chips away and it eats away at your tooth enamel. So you just make sure that you have
Yeah.
good hygienic processes when it comes to taking care of your teeth, top to bottom,
Yep.
of course.
All right, kid.
So before I was actually distracted by Isaiah telling me to take all my teeth out at one time, where the party at?
Right here,
Oh, it's
baby.
right
It's
here.
like this.
That party right here,
Every
dog.
week is
It's right
just
here, big
like
dog.
that.
It's
You
right
Yes,
sure
here.
about
sir.
that? You sure that party is right here? Cause we gonna get that
Yes,
party
sir.
started, but is it right here?
It's right
It's right
It's right
here.
here. And guess what? We ain't going nowhere. So let's get into this first topic. We're going to talk a little bit about Desmond Bane. He's been a very effective player, very good player for the Memphis Grizzlies.
Very
Bane has been there
consistent
quite
player.
some time, along with Ja Morant and several other players for the
Jaren
Memphis
Jackson
Grizzlies.
Jr.
He's made a big contribution to that organization, but the organization decided that there was time for him and the organization to part company. I want to start out with Najee and ask Najee, what type of
It's
impact
crazy.
is this going to be on the Grizzlies? Are they starting over on a complete rebuild by letting Bane go? Or are they just trying to retool because they're bringing in Kentavious Caldwell-Pope? He's been around the league for a while. He has a lot of experience. He won a championship with
Two
Denver.
championships.
Yeah,
Two. He
Yeah.
got
two.
two.
Exactly.
You
So
got one with
tell
the
us a little
Lakers
bit
and one with
about
the
what
Nuggets.
you know about Desmond Bane and what you think he's going to bring to Orlando. What type of team that Orlando is going to put on the floor next year? Because I mean, they've been pretty competitive from what I've heard.
Okay, so Orlando is on the upcoming right now. They're actually doing a lot better within the past couple of seasons. For Orlando, that's a great pickup because he does score more than KCP. His defense is kind of suspect, but the thing is, he's a consistent scorer. He's gonna get if you give him touches, he's gonna give you 20 at least. He's gonna give you 20 at least. KCP won't do that for you, especially at least the role that he was playing with the Magic. I don't
Hmm.
see how that's gonna really work for the Grizzlies when it comes to the KCP playing for them because I mean, just like I said, he'll give you 8 or 9 points, but Desmond Bane was giving you a consistent 20 when John Morant had these suspensions, these injuries, because he's gonna get injured because he's always flying in the air. So just between those two, he was keeping them afloat while John Morant was absent. Now, so I don't know how that's going to play out because I mean, you saw they already got rid of their coach too. So are they slowly transitioning to try to rebuild in a way? I don't know because the team ain't old either. So I don't know what they're doing. I really don't know what Grizzlies are doing right now.
It's going to be hard for him to compete too by getting rid of players like Bane because Bane was an
Yeah,
intricate
when you get
part. I
rid of a
know he
consistent
came up
scorer, come on,
big
man.
in a lot of the games against the Lakers. I mean, I used to watch the Grizzlies
Yeah,
play the Lakers, and when Ja Morant wasn't on, Bane was on. I mean, Desmond Bane stepped up to the
yep.
plate every single time he had to step up to the plate. He stepped up, and he stepped up exceptionally well. Who is going to take his spot? Because Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, no disrespect and not taking any talent level away from him, but Desmond Bane to me is somewhat of a one of a kind player, especially in a role playing that he had with the Grizzlies, and he'll be able to take his talents down to Orlando and parlay that to keep his career going. Right?
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
So, so Isaiah, give me your take on it. You think Ja Morant is going to be able to carry that team on his shoulders? Because it's technically all on his shoulders now to carry that team. Because Bane was, he was the Batman Robin type of thing. And tell me what you think, Isaiah, about whether Ja Morant is going to be able to carry that team to the promised land on his shoulders, although he's receiving a player like Kentavious Caldwell-Pope.
Well, what I can see consistently, you've got to have at least three good players on each team.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, you just spinning your wheels. If you don't have three good players, now you can have that one solid player that makes everybody else step up their game and be better. But you got to at least have two more good players to be able to carry a team. It's just too many teams that know how to play all five of their players at one time. I mean, and they swap off a lot too. So if you don't have three good players, you're not going anywhere, man. I could see that. Even here in Miami, we had a couple good players, then we'll drop off and then get a couple more good players. We only was going a little bit past 500 doing that. In
Mm-hmm.
order to do it, when we had the big three with Wade and Bosch here, and when LeBron, we was able to pull it off because we had good supporting cast. But if you don't have three good players at least, you might as well sit down because you're not going too far like that. So I think they need to grab a couple more players and surround them. Otherwise they're going to be a 500 team. That's what they're going to do.
Okay,
Yep.
so here's the thing about Memphis. I mean, I'm currently looking at their potential starting lineup for 26. It looks like
Mm-hmm.
Jaron Jackson Jr., and Desmond Bane until they traded Bane was the three players that you just talked about. I mean, they were the three pivotal
Yeah.
players that meant
Mhm.
something to
Yeah.
that team. Now, Najee, let me ask you this. You think this draft is going to play a major role in Memphis next Wednesday? Because the NBA draft is actually next Wednesday. So if you think about it,
Mm-hmm.
management and the general manager might be thinking, look, we can get a player or a couple of players out of the NBA draft that might be able to step
Yeah.
in and contribute immediately, right?
I mean, yeah, but the thing is, do you even know their picks? That's really what all boils down. Just because you have a certain players that you want, like let's say, for example, let's say they need a player like Cooper Flag. We all know he's going to Dallas. So I mean, is that going to be a shot in a barrel? Like, what is their plan? What is their plan? Just like when you said, they need at least three very good players, not superstars. They don't have to be superstars, but three very good players on each team.
Yeah.
Look what the Suns just had. They just had Bradley Beal, Devin
Mm-hmm.
Booker, and Kevin Durant. They didn't even make the play in. Do you know what the play in is? The play in is at least the top 10 spots. There's 15 teams on each conference. They didn't make the top 10. The
Wow.
top 10. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
That's
trying to tell you.
getting back to what I
When
was
you had
saying
the
about that
Lakers,
supporting
You
cast
had
too.
Austin Reeves,
Yeah.
LeBron, yeah, that too. But the thing is, they were a top heavy team. So right there alone, you already showed that unless all three of them are hitting, you're already gonna struggle. That's just what it is. Now, when you had the Lakers, you had LeBron, you had Austin Reeves, and you had Luca. That's your three. When you have Thunder that's playing in the finals right now, you have Chet, you have Jalen Williams, and you have Shea.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you go to the Pacers, you have Tyrese, you have Siakam, and you have Turner. That's their three. Everybody, just like what Isaiah said, every team, if you want to be at least
Right.
decent,
Yep.
like respectable team, you have to have three players that's gonna hit it in
Yep.
all cylinders for you.
All cylinders. Gotta be.
So it looks as though Memphis didn't even have a first round pick before this trade with Desmond Bane, but it looks like they're picking
So
16th in the first round right now. They have a 16th slot to pick.
mm,
Do you think, Najee,
that
there's
might
going
have
to
been
be
part
some
of
really
the
good
trade.
players
Then,
left for the 16th pick coming out of college?
um, I mean, no, I don't think so. They
You
just
don't think so?
they had some very after they had some notable players in this draft, but I don't think it's gonna be full of players that just people gotta have. That's why I think this. But I mean, but this is definitely gonna be better than last year. Last year, really, really nobody even freaking knew anybody in the draft class outside of Bronny, and Bronny was so low in the draft. So that's
Right.
kind of what this draft looked like right now this season.
Well, if you're talking about building in the draft, that's how OKC got to where they are right now. They was willing and dealing, man. They was picking up people in the draft, and that's how they got their team so strong. And that's why they're all so young too, man. They're energetic and they're strong and they're young because they got all those players in the draft, and they're competitive. But if you just start shipping these guys who's old in there, you're not going to build your team. But
Mm-hmm.
that's why the OKC is strong the way they are right now, because they got a group of young talent on their team, young superstars.
That is true. I mean, if you think about how certain
See, OKC, they benefit with a lot of trades they had
right.
because a lot of their players are from trading Westbrook, trading especially Paul George. That's what a lot of their picks are from. That's what a lot of picks are
Yeah,
from. Guess what?
and that's
Mm-hmm.
what
They
I'm
still
saying. They
as
picked
good
them
as
out
their
the
team
draft.
is, they still have draft picks from those trades. And they
Yeah,
are already by far the best team record wise in the league.
I
Right.
think
So
they're
they actually can
best
afford
overall.
to get rid of some pieces they want to.
Yeah,
Yeah, they did wheel and deal. And if you think about sports, especially professional sports, how they play certain elements of picking players in the draft, trading for players, it's a chess game. I mean, you basically you
absolutely.
bring players
Yeah,
in based on their ability to be able to fill slots, to fill, needs that the
yeah,
team
and fit
need,
into
whether
your
you
system too, and to
exactly, and
fit
a
into
good
your system.
system
Yeah,
fit, because
Yeah,
it
yeah,
doesn't
that too.
always
yeah,
work out systematically for a system player to come in and play. But on the flip side of that, some teams are better than others when it comes to trading players away and them being able to balance that out with the draft. I mean, because this
hmm
Bane trade to me is really predicated strictly on the draft coming up next Wednesday. I think. I don't think they would have. I don't think they
Gotta
would
be.
have
It
got
has to
rid of
be.
him if that draft wasn't coming around. I don't think. When you say that, Najee.
Oh, yeah, I mean, that's the only explanation, man. Because you don't want to give up a person that's in a prime and that's consistent. He's both of them, and he's one of their best shooters. So, I mean, unless they execute something well in the draft, then it just really looks bad. So, let's say if they preparing for the draft and they get nothing what they wanted, now it really, really does look terrible. Now you don't got rid of
yeah.
your most consistent player, and he's durable. And you mean to tell me you got for nothing. You got rid of him for nothing.
So Isaiah, let me ask you this question: Who wins and who loses out of this trade, this Desmond Bane trade? Orlando or Memphis?
I think Orlando is going to win. Orlando is making some
Mm-hmm.
real savvy, smooth, shrewd moves, man, and they're the up and coming team. They're very scrappy too. Now, if you watch them throughout the season, Orlando will scrap with you,
Yeah.
man. They might
Mm-hmm.
come up a little
Yep.
short because they
They're a
need
very
some
physical
pieces in their
team.
puzzle. Yep, but they'll scrap
Yeah,
at you,
very
man.
physical
And I
team.
see them going
Yep.
far next year. Yep,
Yeah, they will go, and you think about it, they could be straight on that trajectory that OKC
yep.
was on a couple of
hmm
years ago, and now look what OKC is doing. OKC is a couple of games away from winning the trophy, the championship, the
Yeah,
NBA
they're going to
championship.
win. They're going to win
I
it,
ain't
despite
going there
all your
yet.
thoughts. Well,
I'm
go
not
ahead
gonna
and
go
go
there
wherever you
yet.
want. Go
I ain't
It's the
going
whatever
best
you
of
there
want.
yet.
three
You
in
like a
two
little
games.
rat and a
It's
little
the
Now,
tunnel.
best of three in two of the games. All right,
Yeah.
OKC.
well, I can
Well,
tell
see,
you one
DC
thing:
has
if
always been
Indiana
like
win
that
that
little
one
rat coming at
tonight,
the tunnel.
if Indiana win this one tonight, OKC is in a heap of
Oh yeah,
trouble. I'm
yeah.
gonna just
If
tell
they
you,
Yeah,
went,
they in
they went
trouble.
to
they in
if
Yeah.
trouble if they
Indiana,
lose
yeah,
this.
they in
They better
trouble.
not lose
They
this
in
one
trouble.
tonight at home.
Yeah.
They can't lose tonight.
They
I don't
lose
They
think
this
can't
they're
one
lose
gonna
tonight
tonight.
lose
at
this game
home.
tonight.
Rick Carlisle
That's
is
the only
going to
part we
have
gonna
a
agree with.
Yeah.
strategy to finish them off in
We all
Indiana.
we
It's gonna be
all agree
big.
on that one, DC. Are you
Exactly.
gonna call this one, or are you gonna stay back like a little rat coming
Am
out
I
of
gonna
cubby
call this
hole?
one
Or,
tonight?
yeah. What do
Oh,
you
I'll go
call it?
ahead and you want me to call it now?
Yes.
Go ahead, call it.
I'm gonna call Indiana. Indiana's gonna get this one tonight. Indiana is
in
going
his
to get
defense,
Don't
this
be
one
afraid to
tonight
answer your phone
because
call.
Tyrese Haliburton is
no,
he's going to stop this pickpocket stuff where he's getting the
Okay.
ball
nah,
stripped out from under
he's
him when
gonna
he try.
struggle tonight. He's gonna
He,
struggle tonight.
Man, they gonna
I
He's
lock
gonna
think
him
struggle tonight.
down.
Siakam is going to step up. I really
Mm.
do.
They gonna lock
And the supporting
Halliburton
cast
down
over
tonight.
top is going to step up. They're going to get this one tonight, no matter how hard OKC come at them and into the
All
paint at them.
right.
I don't think they're going. I don't think they're
And,
scared of OKC. They ain't scared of OKC.
Make
They
sure
know they
you
can
don't
beat them.
turn your phone off after the
I'm
game,
not.
DC.
You know how to
Okay.
contact me.
You have a you got a
Listen,
tendency,
in
yeah, the
his
next
defense,
day because you turn your damn phone off.
he did say the Pacers was gonna win in Game 6. He did say that. He did say that.
Yeah, he
I
was
did
on a
say it.
couple of
I'm
them,
telling
but
you,
that's
they
the
are
few and far
going.
between.
You ain't gonna beat the Pacers
The-
twice in a row tonight. I don't see it tonight. I don't care whether they in
But you
OKC
think
or
the Pacers
not.
gonna beat them twice in a row?
I do. I think if the Pacers
All
beat them
right.
tonight, they're gonna beat them in
Yeah,
Indiana
that's
in
all.
this next one. That's
If the
now.
Mm-hmm.
If the
Pacers win
Pacers
tonight, I'm willing to go ahead on a limb and say they'll get this series too. But I don't think they're
exactly
gonna win tonight, DC. I'm
now, if
telling
the
you.
Pacers come
Nah,
up short,
they know
I'm gonna
better.
flip over to what you guys just said. If the Pacers come up short tonight, it's a wrap. I think OKC
Yeah.
could take them in that next game in Indiana,
Hmm.
but this is the pivotal game. This is game one of the series, but the series is almost over. This is the middle
Yeah.
of the series, game one of the series. Indiana was able to get that game one at the beginning of the series. So Indiana's
Yeah.
gonna get this game
Mm-hmm.
one tonight. They're gonna do whatever it takes to get this game tonight to keep this series alive. If they don't do that tonight and it goes 3-2, I do
Mm-hmm.
believe OKC has the ability to go up in there and beat them in Indiana the next game. Just kind of like what they did with Denver. Denver fought to the
Yeah.
very end.
I
Same thing.
I told you about
Hmm.
them odd games. Them odd games are very pivotal. I told you about that.
They are. They're
That's an odd
very
game.
very
Game 5.
pivotal. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So let's go to this next topic. This is an interesting topic to me because I think this is a very big deal in the NBA in the upcoming season. It looks like Kevin Durant, he has
Uh-huh.
a trade wish list.
Uh-oh.
And it
Yeah. He's
looks as
flirting with
though
us down
he
here.
is got Miami number one. Of course, I'm looking
Yes.
at it in the order. Miami, the
Yep.
Spurs, and the
Hmm.
Rockets. Najee, give me the best fit for him.
The best fit for
Don't be
him.
biased either. Don't be
Listen,
biased either.
I'm not gonna be biased about it. The best is be between the Heat
Miami,
and the Spurs. The Heat
Miami,
and the
the
Spurs.
Spurs, and the Rockets.
I think he coming here, DC.
I think the Heat and the
Think he coming to
Spurs.
Miami.
Those
I
are the best
think
two
the
for him.
Rockets would be a good
Just
fit for
just
him
just
with
to,
Umi
no,
Adoka.
I don't want him to go over there. Don't mess up a young team. They already was second in the West. Don't mess up a young team. You go over there and go to another veteran team or that needs something. The Spurs didn't make it to the playoffs, so
We
cool.
need
You can't screw them up.
we we we, we need him down
The
here,
Heat
man.
needs
We
scoring. The
desperate,
Heat
bro.
needs scoring, so he
We
can go over
desperate,
there.
man.
The
We are
Rockets is one of,
super
I think if
desperate.
they won the second or the third youngest team in the league, and they were still second in the West. So don't get rid of none of that young talent to screw it up. So let them stay right there, continue
Let
building
him come in
together,
here,
and
man. We can
let the
welcome
Heat
him
go
with
somewhere
open
and do
arms.
something.
Open
They
arms.
will.
So
You know,
Isaiah, why do
They
you think
will.
you
he
know,
picked Miami as one of his destinations? Can you give me an idea?
because actually, Pat Riley been plugging at him for a while, man. He just,
For a minute, yeah. I think
yeah,
he tried
Pat
been doing
Riley
it
been
since
trying to get him
LeBron
for
left.
a long
Yeah,
time, man. Yes, ever since LeBron
yeah.
left, he been trying to lure him down here. But Durant was like, "No, can do," but he wouldn't come. I think he's open to it now because he
I
can
mean,
see himself
I
fitting
wouldn't go over
in.
there versus the Warriors either.
Yeah, he need to come right on down here, man. Fit right in, and then get him a retirement home and stay here after his career is over. But this is a spot for him. He can bring a lot
Yeah.
of life back down to our team. We need some instant gratification here. We need to be gratified to get him here. So we need it bad. We desperately need him,
Just
man.
don't get so
This
sensitive when
because
Pat Riley say something to him.
no, I just hope he don't get that way either because that's how Butler did. Butler got all sour and left. But Durant probably won't do that. He might be looking for a place where him to retire anyway, and this will be the perfect spot for him. Let him come on down here.
Yeah.
So does he have
Yeah,
anything left in him? I mean, in
yeah.
terms
Of
of
course
being
he
able to
does.
get them to that next level, like Butler,
Yeah,
somewhat.
yeah. He do. Yeah, he got plenty
The
of
only
left, man.
thing is, the
The
only thing
only
is
thing you
Durant
got to
don't
do
like to
is
play
you need to
defense,
play
but
him.
that's it.
Well,
Yeah, that's the
everybody
only
else
thing
can
Durant
play
don't like to do
defense
is
as
play
long as he
defense.
score.
generally don't play a
If
lot
he
of
can
defense.
score,
Hmm
if he can score, man, if he can score, and you know what, I get him down here, I give him a good bobber too. You know, cut his hair. I can give him a good bobber when he get here.
So you're gonna give it you're gonna teach him a grooming class when he comes to Miami, if
No,
he
I get
comes to
somebody to
Miami.
cut it for him. I get somebody to cut it for
I
him.
heard
Yeah,
that. I heard that. So which team do you think has the salary cap space to bring him in? I would say Miami's got the cap
Miami
room,
got it.
right?
We got plenty of money for him.
Both of them, both of
Yeah,
them. No, both of
we
them. Both
both
of
of
them.
them,
Nobody is
expected the
really
Heat. You
both
know that.
both both franchises that I mentioned don't have that high salary paying guy yet. Because Victor Oladipo, he's still on his rookie contract. Chris Paul is going into his 21st season, so he's not making that much money. You got, I mean, you do have D Fox on there, but he's not making like top dollar money. So they gonna have the cash space for him. They gonna have it.
So I would say
The only thing
this.
is what the Heat gonna get rid of to get them done.
I would say this, if I was Durant and speaking to Durant directly right now, I would say Miami is the destination for him.
The
Not
spot.
because I grew up in Miami, not because Isaiah lives in Miami, not because Najee lives in Florida. I would just say Miami is the place for him to go if he wants to try to get to a championship. And the reason I say
Oh,
that
nah, we
is
ain't
because I
nah.
don't see the
We're not talking
Spurs
about no
getting there
championship,
anytime
sir.
soon.
No, mm-mm.
Listen,
Nah.
Nadia, let him speak. I like
No,
it so far.
no,
Go
no, no.
ahead,
But we're not.
DC.
No, we're not gonna let him cheat our viewers though. Because no. Because I can give you at
Listen,
least 4 or 5 teams that's gonna be better than them. Don't do that.
but
Mm-mm.
you
So
know,
Just,
name
you
just
some of
gotta
so
those teams
understand
off
something,
for us
I
then,
can give you
Najee. Go
four
ahead
or
and
Najee.
name
five
some of
teams
those teams.
easily before the Heat. Come on, man.
But
And you got the
but you
Knicks,
see,
you got the Pacers, you got the Cavs, you got the Celtics. You come
but
on,
we're
don't do
talking
don't
about
don't do
the
and
people
then we
that
talking about
he's
the Magic.
interested
Then
in,
we got the
Najee.
Magic. Come on, look at all
Najee,
those teams
we're
that's right
only
in front of you.
talking
You talking
about
about
the
a
team.
championship?
But he's we're talking about the teams that he's interested in playing for, man. Don't start grabbing every damn team out the league and throw them our way. We're talking about
But
a
you just
total of like
but
three
he
teams.
but he just
But
said
even
that's
though
gonna
he
be able
mentioned
to
championships,
compete
hang on,
for a
let me finish
championship.
this.
They're
Even though
not.
he
Even
mentioned
Detroit gonna be in
championship,
front of them. That's what's sick. Come on, man. Don't do that. Mm-mm, mm-mm.
hey, DC, finish your statement because
Go ahead,
Najee
sir.
is
I
just super
apologize.
biased on this thing, and he's bringing every other team into it. We were only talking about a handful of teams that he were interested in, and not only that, we don't those other teams don't have an Eric Spoelstra and a Pat Riley and
Thank you.
know how to
Thank you. You just
wheel
summed
and
up
deal
what
and
I
put
was
other
just
people
getting ready to
around him,
say.
man.
As far as
See, that's the thing that he didn't
organization
say.
goes, I think this
Yes.
would Miami would be the team because it's an established organization. They have
Mm-hmm.
the nucleus. Not right. They may not have all the players that they need, but they have the basic nucleus to be very competitive in terms of their ability to be able to compete, as opposed to San Antonio. Houston has got a lot of potential, so I'm not going to even bring Houston. But if he's thinking about the Spurs, and he'd probably team up with Chris Paul again, the biggest thing is that he's got to look at the options, and he's got to look at his opportunities to be able to say, look, if I go to Miami, we might be in the hunt
It,
at some point in a year or two.
and of course, he had to do that, DC, to even say that. If he
Right.
mentioned that, he's
Right.
already, anticipating on those things happening. Because it ain't nowhere in the world that Pat Riley gonna bring a player in that magnitude and just sit him where he don't have help. He's gonna surround him with some people because he
Exactly.
know what we need. We lost last year, and you know what? When Butler left, even though he was being a bro, our team just went south when he left. Man, we was already struggling, and then we lost a shooter. So now to bring Durant in, he's going to put other people around him. He's not going to just bring him here and just leave the team as it is. He's going to build around him. He's always been a GM like that, president to build around a superstar.
Yeah.
That's what he's
Yeah.
going to do now.
As far as I can only go on what Najee is saying, and I get Najee's point completely. I get Najee's point to the sense that the East is packed full of teams. It would be a challenge to get through some of the teams that Najee mentioned. But as far as a project where Miami can start building something to bring back their ability to be able to get to the playoffs and be able to make a run inside the play, because you don't know what may happen when a team gets inside the playoffs. Some of them get hot, some of them get cold, and it's just a matter of having the right kind of players. Because Bam Adebayo is not the answer to Miami.
He's not.
He's a
Nope.
role
Nope.
player
He's clearly
as
not,
far as
man.
I'm concerned.
He's not. That's why I
Yeah,
say we need Durant here to help him out, and then get a couple more good players to put around them too. And I'm not just saying an average player. I'm saying right below superstar status to help those two. Yeah,
yeah, because if you look at the draft now, the draft is coming up for Miami. I do not know where they sit right now, but I'm going to check. And I'm going to do a quick check to see their draft position, because they could fill some roles. I mean, fill some open holes with a draft, you know? And
yeah.
that's
You know
Hmm.
the way our team is and the coaching philosophy of Eric Spoelstra, man. He don't need several years to turn a team around. All you need is to plug a couple good players in at once. He'll turn a team around in a matter of half a season. He's done it plenty of times before. So if he bring Durant in here and then get a couple more people around him, they can very well turn this team around. Now
yeah,
Najee just can't even fathom them hitting a championship run. He just cannot swallow that. But if you just
Nah,
thinking
no
about the
diddy. But
teams
nope.
that he's interested in going to, Miami is one of them, because I guarantee you, in order for him to be that interested, a lot of them pulled him to the side and spoke to him about the things that he's thinking about doing. Najee, that's what I'm just saying. That's the only thing I'm saying. Yeah,
Okay. So I'm also put this out here too. You saying what he can put around him if they would do it right? You do know this is going to be a trade. It's not going to be a sign. So that means they whatever good pieces they do have, they would have to get rid of that just in order to acquire him,
true,
right?
get
true.
rid of what? They don't have any money
I don't
spent
know.
right now.
Whatever.
Yeah, but they
I'm talking
don't have
about
a whole lot
Phoenix.
of
I mean,
money.
Phoenix. Whoever Phoenix wants to take from the Heat, because it's going to be a trade. It's not going to be a sign. It's not
I don't
sign
see
when
anyone that
you can
Phoenix
just
would
add
want from
somebody
the
His
on.
Heat,
his
to be honest
Trade,
with
contract,
you
you.
actually
yeah,
got to
but
trade some good pieces.
Who would Phoenix
yeah, but
want from the Heat? I think Phoenix would want a draft pick, a high draft pick. I think they would probably want Miami's pick for the next few years in the
I
first
bet they
round
try.
when you
I bet they
save
try
them.
to take Tyler Hero from y'all. I bet
That
they
could
try to
be.
take Tyler
yeah,
That could
Hero.
be.
they
I
might
wouldn't be
want
shocked.
Hero in a
They
draft
might
pick.
take Hero.
They
They
might
might.
want Hero and a draft pick. Yeah, I would can Tyler Hero for Durant to come in here. I
You'll
would,
get rid
and
of a
and
20.
then
You'll get rid of 20. You'll get rid of a 24, 25-year old for a 37-year old.
Hmm.
yeah, and we really want to win right away. Yeah, because we don't like to be taking 4 and 5 years to turn a team around. We like to do it right away, and that's how you do it. You do it right away. You
In
pull
this
the
day and
trigger
age,
on
that's how you
something
do
just
it.
like that.
You do
Yeah,
it like that in this day and age for sure. You
yeah.
don't trade for
You
a
don't.
player to wait 5 years to try to get
Right,
to
you
the
don't,
promised
man.
land.
You won't have no damn job playing like this.
Absolutely. You want to definitely within, 12 to 24 months to be right there in the thick of it if you
Yes,
trade for a good
yep,
player like Durant,
of
right?
course. Yep.
Well, if you trade for Durant, it's definitely got to be a now situation because like I say, he's 37. By the time the season is over, it'll be 38.
Yeah. Well, it remains to be
He's not
seen
playing
because
like that though. He's still playing at a high level, so I can see it happening. I can see him wanting to do it.
I could see him wanting to do it too. And if he mentioned Miami amongst these three teams, I mean, what other choice would he want to make? I mean, the
And not only
environment, the
that, DC,
city.
Pat Riley love older players like that anyway.
He
You know
does.
that
He
for a
does.
fact. He love
Absolutely.
older players like that.
Yep. He
And
bought
and,
in
and
Shane
it's been licking at
Battier.
his
He bought
top
in Ray
forever.
Allen during those championship
Yep.
years.
hmm
They went out and got quite a
And
few
Pat,
players.
Gary Payton. He brung
Gary
Payton too
Payton.
when you thought he was over. Yep.
Yeah. So they definitely, Pat Riley definitely has a good He has a good way of getting older players and pairing them in with the younger players to build a team
Hmm.
nucleus that's going to be successful. And we will definitely keep an eye on that because I just think it's also important that any team where you have a general manager and the owner and they're trying to negotiate to make their organization better, they have to make moves and they have to make sometimes they
Yeah,
have to make
yeah.
risky moves.
Oh, of
37
course
year
they
old
do.
player, that's somewhat of a
Yep,
risky move. But then again, it comes to pay dividends a lot of time in the
yeah.
long term for the
Rapidly,
franchise.
dividend, rapidly also. Those
Exactly.
dividends
Because
get paid rapidly. Yeah,
I could switch over to football and tell you the Rams did it. The Rams hawked everything for that Super Bowl year that they beat the Cincinnati Bengals in the Super Bowl. They
yep.
gave up everything. They gave up all of their draft picks to bring in players that they needed because they say this is the year. We got to put this team together. We got to put these veterans along with these
The
rookies
Cowboys
to
did
make
it
this
too
team
when they brought
competitive.
Emmett and the rest of that nucleus there too. The
Absolutely.
Cowboys did it
The Cowboys did it. And
when they
Jimmy
shipped it
Johnson had
off
to do a
Herschel
total
Walker.
rebuild back
Yeah.
then, you
Hmm.
know.
Yeah.
So let's move on to this next topic. This topic surrounds Antonio Brown, ex wide receiver for the
Oh man,
Pittsburgh Steelers, ex wide receiver for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I just want to ask you guys, what do you think about Aaron Rodgers, who just was signed with the Pittsburgh Steelers? There was allegations that Aaron Rodgers went to management and asked, could Antonio Brown come back to Pittsburgh? However, it looks as though
Mm.
Antonio Brown allegedly is going to have a legal, he's going to have some legal challenges because it looks like,
Issues. Yeah.
according to latest current news, that he is definitely under investigation for gunshots being fired at an event, which we talked about probably over a month ago, that he went to an event and
yeah.
he allegedly said that some people tried to rob him and he wasn't going to let them take his jewelry or whatever he had on, and he defended himself. It was
Hmm.
supposed to have been a self-defense type of situation. Do you think Antonio Brown will be able to come back into the league with this legal cloud hanging over his head, even if the Pittsburgh Steelers wanted to do it? Would they be take that kind of risk? I could start with you, Najee. Tell me.
Nah, he's already an older player that I'm sure that hasn't been training and working out like he used to already. And like I said, he's already old because he was what 36 now, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, his career's done, man. Like people that's 33, 34, 35, they already talk about how seasoned they are and what they got left. Now you're talking about a
Mm-hmm.
person that hasn't played the last 2, 3 seasons already, and he's not. I'm pretty sure he's not working out nowhere near he was when he was a pro athlete. Nah, he's pretty much cooked, man. He's cooked.
How about you, Isaiah? You think Antonio Brown will be able to come back into the NFL at some point? Let's just say, even if he beats these legal challenges, would he be able to come back into the NFL and have a successful career? Same as he kind of left off when he won a Super Bowl at Tampa Bay.
Man, if I was in the position of the Steelers, I won't even want Antonio Brown driving down the street that my stadium sits on. The type of attitude this guy has, the all the drama and the freaking skeletons he's got in his closet and always in trouble, don't listen to nobody. Man, I won't want that guy anywhere near my organization because he already been proven to be
Toxic.
poison in the locker room, man. He's a toxic piece of
Hmm.
individual because bro, you don't get on a better team when you got Brady as your quarterback. You freaking embarking on a Super Bowl, and you take off your equipment and you put on your team and run down the sideline half dressed like a complete idiot, man, imbecile. And you want to play in somebody's organization again? I won't want him around, man. And this is doing your job. This was a matter of just doing your job. And now look at all the off the field trouble that he's been in. Now he's in Dubai somewhere where they showed him on a bicycle riding because he's trying to elude being arrested, man, because he's in question for a situation that you mentioned earlier. Allegedly, the guy's going to be arrested if they can get their hands on him, man, because he got in a fight and it was some gunfire and they think he did it. So why put yourself in this position when you got a guy who's going to be going in and out of court during football season? Because that's what's going to happen. You don't need that type of distraction on your team. So leave him where he is. Let him fight his little battles in the courtroom, and let this guy go on about his business because he's just a toxic individual who don't want to listen. Man, bro, I seen this guy play at the highest level, and I didn't think anybody was better than him during his prime. But he messed that up. He messed it up. So he need to just work out his situation off the field, man, before he think about playing football because he's in some serious trouble from what I see. Yep.
So
Yeah.
why would you think Aaron Rodgers would go in and lobby for him to come back? I mean, you think he
Well,
contacted
Aaron
Aaron
Rodgers
Rodgers?
probably ain't know the magnitude of this situation, DC.
Mm-hmm.
He's in, listen, man, it was gunfire. Somebody got hit at this party, and they think he had
Hmm.
something to do with it. So it ain't gonna be like no peaches and cream for him. He's gonna be in and out of court, man. I'm telling you, they got footage of this stuff, and allegedly they said he pulled the gun from a security guard and went after somebody with it. So according to those tapes and audio and video, it's a serious trouble, man. He's got a dilemma here that he's gonna have to iron out before he think about playing football, man. That's his least worry about getting on the football field. He escaped. They think he just jumped ship to get from in this country because he was going to be arrested. This is not an easy thing that he's getting ready to go through, man. And Aaron Rodgers probably ain't know the magnitude of this situation, bro. I'm telling you because it's a serious situation he found himself in. Yep.
So let me ask you this, Isaiah. Where does stand your ground, Florida stand your ground law come into play with this? Would Antonio Brown be able to use stand your ground as a defense that
No,
people were getting
no,
ready to take property from him? Do you have to
no,
wait
no,
until they
man.
take property first, or do you have
No,
to wait
it's
until they start kicking your butt first before you could stand your ground? How does that work?
stand your ground is to me. I'm gonna tell you if you look at that legislation, that bill was passed for stand your ground. It's something to defend yourself. If let's say, for instance, you walking down the sidewalk with your wife and your kids, and all of a sudden somebody try to stick you up, and you arm, you can smoke them, bro, right in on the scene because you first of all is potentially getting ready to get robbed, and you fear for your wife and your safety of your kids as well. So you can use that stand your ground law. Beginning a fight where you can actually retreat and run, you take somebody else's gun and run after somebody, that's not stand your ground, man. Stand your ground
No,
don't
no,
mean
that's not
starting
standing
a fight
ground.
and getting your butt beat and then you shoot somebody. That's what not stand your ground is about. Stand your ground is not like you go over
No.
there because somebody stepped on your shoe and you push them and they get your ass and then you want to shoot them. It's not. It don't work like that. Stand your ground means you got a big old guy and you a tiny fella and he's taking advantage of you and you blow his head off. That's what stand your ground is about. It's about not making you get punked out. But you can't start anything and use it. You can't go messing around with somebody and then use that stand your ground law. It don't work like that, man. And so in his case, it was a bunch of people there. He could have very clearly ran away from this fight, not bringing it to somebody, but you could have retrieved. You could have took off running somewhere else. But the way they trying to say he did it, he pulled somebody else's gun. You can't use stand your ground for that. It ain't
True,
working, bro. I don't care
true.
what kind of attorney you have. You can't use that one.
That pulling the gun from somebody else is new to me because I'm looking at just said that he allegedly discharged a gun. Now, I guess I would have to ask
Did
you
they?
then, and let me ask Najee this question: is it an environment that can determine stand your ground? So you're saying, because Isaiah just explained, look, you're walking down the street with your wife and kids, minding your business, and then somebody try to stick you up. That stand your ground. You can do what you need to do to defend yourself and your wife and your kids. However, if you're at an event and you have on a certain amount of jewelry or a fur coat or whatever you may have on, and then you have guys walking
Hmm.
towards you that's getting ready to do something to you, you can determine whether they're getting ready to do something to you or not. That if they walk toward you, you just need to retreat. Is that how stand your ground works, Najee?
No, just like what Isaiah said, it's almost a self defense situation, but where you're being overpowered. So now you have to, defend yourself before you're not able to can defend yourself. Now, from what I was told was that he was being jumped out there when he had all his jewelry on because he's a flashy type of dude. I
Exactly.
don't
Yes.
know so I don't know if he got out of the fight situation, then ran to the guy and got a gun, or that the fight was done. He was pissed off and then grabbed the gun and started shooting. I don't know how that played out. Now, if he was getting jumped, then he was able to just grab one. Then I mean, of course, you can still you can use that as stand your ground because you're still in the motion of getting beat on and you can't get out of the situation. But I did.
DC.
They showed a small clip of it on YouTube on Facebook that he
Okay.
was getting jumped though. But I don't know how the
So
gun,
how do you defend
transpired in the whole
yourself if you're
situation.
getting jumped? I mean, how do you square getting jumped and people are doing something to you, and then if you have a gun, you can't use it. And then you
Mm-hmm.
have a law which is very unique in Florida because we don't have it out here in California. You don't have no stand your ground law in California. It looks like it's Florida and several
Mm-hmm.
other states in the country that use stand your ground. So if that's the case, you're getting jumped. What is he supposed to do? What is he supposed to do?
DC. If you were getting jumped, okay, and you done got your butt beat too now, and they start
Absolutely.
to retreat. No, but hang on. If you got beat down, okay, and those guys left you alone, they was retreating. You can't even shoot them in the back, man.
Oh, I know
That's
that for
murder.
sure.
Oh, now you can shoot him in
What
the
I'm
back.
saying
Now
to
you
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 can't shoot
can't
him in
is,
the
shoot
back.
anyone
what
in
I'm
the
saying
back,
to you
of
is,
course.
what I'm
Yeah.
saying to you is, according to them, they had already beat up Antonio Brown. This is allegedly. He had already got the fight was over, so he got the gun and went after the guy. See, that's not stand your ground.
See,
You can't
that's
get a
retaliation.
gun
That's
because
not standing
that's
your ground.
almost premeditated because it gave you an out. You had an
Yeah.
out to get away.
Mm-hmm.
Is
Yeah.
that's how
That's
it goes.
retaliation. You
If
can't
you
you
had
can't
an
you,
out to
you
get
can't
away,
use
DC, you can't
retaliation
use it.
and stand your ground at the same sentence.
You
No.
can't
No,
do
you
it.
can't.
You can't you
Because the
you can't
situation's
get
already
beat
over.
up and go to your car and get a gun and come back to the scene and shoot a guy. He can just pick your butt. You can't get in the car and get the gun and come back and shoot him. That's cold blooded murder. You can't do that. If the guy was beating you up and he just punched you in the jaw and you was going down, you could take your firearm and blow his head off. Then that's how that law works. But if that guy punched you and ran, you can't go after him and shoot him in the back. You can't. I mean, if he stopped, you can't even shoot that because it gave you an out to get away from the scene.
Hmm.
So he's in a bunch of trouble, man. If according to the way this, you know, went, he's in trouble.
Well, let me just say this, and I'll clarify what you guys just said. Yet, according to reports, Antonio Brown is accused of taking a gun from a security staff member during an
There it is.
altercation outside of the amateur boxing event in Miami. And that's all still allegations from my perspective and standpoint of view because we don't have the police report. We don't exactly know what
We don't know
happened.
any of that.
Yeah, so all we can do is go on what we have here as news sources as well. I would only wish Antonio Brown can get his life together in that
Yeah.
sense. And I'm not saying that he's at fault for guys jumping him because that's not right. I mean, when people jump you and want to take something from you, you want to defend what you have. And that's just to me normal a normal human reaction is to react like that as far as I'm concerned. I'm not defending or condoning
Yeah, but
Antonio Brown at
DC,
all. But what I'm saying is,
DC.
if people are getting ready to, or they beating you up and getting ready to take something from you, or they've taken something from you, and then they start running away, I guess you just have to let them have it, right? You just have to let them go.
Well, I've never heard anything where he actually got anything taken from him. That's the one big part of it now, DC. They say
It's
they
yeah,
jumped him,
yeah.
but they never say he was
Mm-hmm.
robbed and they took anything from him.
No, that was just
I've
an
And
never
they
heard
didn't
that.
example,
say he
though,
lost
that
any of
what
his
I was
property.
saying. That was an example of do you just need to let someone, if they jump you or start beating you up individually, they take something and start running. You just have to technically let them go. You can't use a stand your ground defense in that, correct?
No,
No,
you're not
man.
defending
Okay,
yourself.
so that
If
That's
answers it.
they
that's not
if
because it's not defending yourself. It's retaliation. Retaliation and defending yourself are two different things.
Absolutely. Well, he had a very fantastic career. I could just say watching Antonio Brown, especially when he was playing for Pittsburgh, him and Ben Roethlisberger, they connected on so many plays and big plays, and winning games and with no seconds left on the clock, winning big games, and then whatever happened in Pittsburgh with him becoming disoriented and not wanting to be in Pittsburgh anymore, that led to him going to Tampa. Now, I have a major problem with Antonio Brown turning on Tom Brady. And the reason I say this is because Tom Brady saved his career. The reason he has a ring on his finger is because of Tom Brady. Why would you turn and bite the hand that feeds you because I guess you figure that you don't need the person anymore? Is that the way it works, Isaiah?
No, I think he was ungrateful and severely ungrateful, man. You got a guy who brung you in here, one of the best quarterback on the face of the earth, bring you
Well, the GOAT,
into a
the GOAT,
situation.
the best in the history
Yeah,
of the game,
he
or
bring
one
you
of
in a
them.
perfect situation. I mean, he was
And he
in
was staying at
the
his
perfect
home.
situation, man.
Absolutely.
He was at the
Absolutely.
man's house. He was here in Florida where it was great climate. He had all the things that you can imagine for a receiver, man. And you blew it because of his own self-inflicted behavior. And bro, that's the main reason why I say it ain't nobody in their right mind can be even phantom this guy being in their organization anymore because clearly he's got issues. He need to be in some kind of treatment center to find out what's really going on with him, man. Because every time I see him on TV, is
Hmm.
for something negative. It has nothing to do with a positive move at all. Since he ran down the sideline with half of his uniform on, it's been something negative about him. So I just think the man needs treatment. I think something severely wrong with him mentally because he's not all there right now at all.
You think it
So
could
I
be
mean,
CTE?
pardon me,
You think it could be
CTE.
CTE? Too many blows to the head? He played little league football all the way up until he played professional, correct?
Well, I don't know whether he ever got tested for that,
Hmm.
but they gonna test him and see what color his fingerprints are when they get him. They gonna be rolling his prints though. I know they gonna test him on that when
That
they see him.
that's a test,
That's,
right?
that's what's gonna happen. I'll tell you.
Well, he's got a lot in front of him. I can tell you that because at the end of the day, once you get into these legal problems, I mean, especially when the state is bringing charges against you, or when the federal government is bringing charge against you, those are serious charges. You spend a
Yeah,
lot of money trying to stay free because at the end of the day, you're fighting for your freedom, a freedom that everybody tends to enjoy walking around, not being accused of anything, right? So whenever you have to
yeah.
fight these kind of battles, it's very draining. You don't have time to think about nothing else other than trying to fight your way out so you can stay free and not become incarcerated and locked up like an animal, you know?
And see, with him, it's always going to be a character issue, man, because, he was just going at it with his landlord. He had a big old thing where the cops had to respond over to his house because him and his wife or his girlfriend or whatever the case may be, they was out there fighting and, in the yard. This was alleged stuff. But then
Okay.
it is always something with him. So they're going to look at his character, and the character is not a good thing when they start evaluating your character because everything else is documented and they can see it. Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. All right. Well, we'll do a final take here. I have a question for Najee. Steven Adams just signed a $39 million deal. Steven Adams, center. 3 years, fully guaranteed. Houston Rockets front court going forward. Uh, what is his locker room impact with this new contract? I mean, what is you think this is really gonna motivate him to really kind of get his team to the next level?
I mean, nah, not really. He's a veteran player that does his job. He's one of the strongest guys in the league. He's very durable. He's reliable. He stays out of trouble. He plays hard. He doesn't whatever he can give you, he will give you. He doesn't cheat at all. He's gonna give you exactly what's required of him. He's just one of those players that's very reliable on your roster every time it's time to play.
Right, because he played for Memphis for a while, right? I remember him playing for Memphis, the Grizzlies, and
Yeah, he used to play with Durant now.
right, and it looks like he's
He
with
played for
Houston,
OKC and Memphis. Yeah,
OKC,
and
and
he's with
Memphis.
Houston.
Right.
Hmm.
So definitely, I just wanted to close out with that. We'll close this show out. We appreciate you, the viewer, chiming in with us again. We're going to be doing the upcoming stream this coming weekend. We'll put some information out so you can be aware that we're going to be streaming live. We want your full, want you to actually participate with our stream and give us some questions or some topics, and we'll talk about those along with you as a viewer. You can chat live on YouTube, so make sure you hit that like button, check that little bell, and make sure you subscribe, because boy, we bringing it. We bringing the best of the best of the
Yeah,
best of the best. So this was a very fruitful show. I appreciate my
yeah,
two kinfolk here, because man, I'm one of the most blessed individuals on earth to have my two kinfolk here with me. So Isaiah, go ahead and close this thing out for us.
man, I couldn't say it better, DC, man. Whenever you got some friends and family that you care about, and I recommend everybody. If you got somebody in your life that you care about, don't be hesitant to tell them how much you care and how much you love them, because next day you might not be able to just do that. But I love you guys, man. I
That is
want everybody to
likewise.
continue to watch our show. It's beautiful, man. And we're doing this for you guys to bring you some entertainment. We work on great content every week, and we giving you the most current events and things that's happening around sports and a little bit of other stuff. But we're loving it. So tell your friends that we're on, your relatives, your coworkers, everybody who you kind of come in contact with, that we're on, and it's a beautiful thing. So you guys have a pleasant week. We'll see you soon. Yeah.
Absolutely. Najee, close us out.
Well, peace and blessings, man. Because if you love God, because He's definitely gonna love you. Exactly what Isaiah said. Because every time I get on Facebook, every time I get on look at the news or whatever, there's always somebody dying. It's family, people. It don't matter what age. It's kids, infants, adults, elderly people. It's people dying every day. I'm talking about car accidents. We just had the airplane that crashed in India. It was a 241 people on there,
Yeah, that was very
and
sad.
240 died.
Yeah,
240
that's
died. It didn't even
240
really even take
people
off.
leaving
It got
Earth.
in
Yep.
the air and came right back down. The only person that survived was the person that got ejected from the airplane.
Hmm.
Bruh, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter. Your time is over, and guess what? It will expire on you.
That is so true. That is so true.
Yeah.
One last thing, I got to get a pick from you tonight, Isaiah. Who are you going with tonight?
OKC.
OKC or Indiana?
OKC. Yes, OKC.
I should have known that. I just asked you
Okay.
just to
I ain't
ask you.
changing.
How about you,
Yeah,
Najee?
I'm not
And
changing.
really, Shea Alexander's getting Finals MVP, so he has to win. They're gonna win tonight. They may lose. May lose game six, just to extend it, but they're gonna close it out at home again. Either way, so OKC is gonna win. I don't know what else to tell you.
All right. Well, I'm going to be contrary to both of you guys, and I'm going to say Indiana's going to get this one tonight, and then Indiana is going to close this next one out at home thereafter, because this is the pivotal game. And whoever loses tonight, I say is going home. So we'll
Lose the
close.
series. Yeah.
Absolutely. So we'll close this series out and close this show out. Thank you for joining the DC Stewart Show podcast, along with my kinfolk, Isaiah and Najee. And we'll be back to see you soon. Stay strong. Take care of yourself before you take care of those around you. Peace, love, and prosperity. Take it easy.